Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Joanna Ho. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Aging drivers may be subject to more body checks under a government plan to improve road safety. TikTok's days could be ticking down in the United States after lawmakers move to ban foreign technology. And Beijing defends its 5% growth target this year, the lowest in 2 decades. The government says that studies are underway to impose extra rules for aging drivers. The revelation came one day after an 84-year-old taxi driver was arrested for dangerous driving after knocking down multiple pedestrians in North Point. Janice Low reports.
A taxi careered downhill in North Point yesterday and plowed into pedestrians crossing the road. 2 of them were knocked unconscious and are still fighting for their lives in hospital. The 84-year-old taxi driver has been charged with dangerous driving causing grievous bodily harm. He claimed he lost the brakes while there were no skid marks at the scene. But many wondered if his old age had impaired his ability to react in emergency situations like this. Records suggest that at least 7 taxi drivers involved in traffic accidents this year were aged 70 or older. The Taxi Dealers and Owners Association admitted the industry has been experiencing a severe driver shortage. Former President Ng Kwan-shing revealed that 7 out of 10 taxi drivers are at least 50 years old. Under existing laws, motorists aged 70 or above must pass a medical exam when they renew their driving license, which is valid for a maximum of 3 years. But there are no additional requirements for commercial drivers, and calls are mounting to review the legislation enacted almost 40 years ago. Taking to the airwaves this morning, Transport Commissioner Rosanna Law confirmed plans to ask old drivers undergo body checks more frequently. Authorities are also studying if the rule should be expanded to cover those under 70. Also under review is the scope of the body check. Apart from monitoring blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar levels, Law is confident a more detailed checkup will be beneficial. This includes undergoing a hand grip test, as well as eyesight and hearing assessments. But the transport chief is against the idea of revoking licenses once the holders reach a certain age. Janice Low, HKIBC.
The Labor Department has wrapped up its investigation into a fatal crane accident last year. A crane collapsed at a construction site in Sao Maoping last September, killing 3 workers. The department has initiated 67 prosecutions against the contractor, subcontractor, and a number of individuals who were not named. The parties are accused of violating occupational safety and other regulations. A concerned group assisting victims of industrial accidents is worried that those responsible would walk away with a slap on the wrist.
Actually, the law says that if you have violated safety law, the maximum penalty would be fine and imprisonment. But it is a very sad that in the past few years, we have never saw anyone who has violated the law have been imprisoned. The law actually states that the maximum penalty would be 500,000. But as we can see from the past judgment, even if that is a case that involves that, usually the payment would be like 30,000 to 70,000.
The former husband of murdered socialite Abby Choi was trying to flee to Macau before his plan was foiled by police, the court was told today. A yacht company worker allegedly arranged a getaway boat for Alex Kwong in exchange for $300,000. Kwong was eventually arrested at a pier in Tongchong last month. The alleged accomplice, Lam Shen, was detained days later. He was brought to Kowloon City Magistracy for mention this morning. The 41-year-old is charged with impeding the apprehension of a suspect of an arrestable offense. Lam was granted bail at $50,000, but must report to police twice a week and surrender all travel documents. He will return to the court on May 8th, along with other suspects of the case. The Hong Kong Bird Watching Society is calling on authorities to step up mitigation measures after nearly 200 birds were killed or injured from window collisions. Macy Mock reports.
While these giant glass panels help draw light into Mayfu MTR station, they could be lethal for birds. So much so that the Hong Kong Bird Watching Society listed it as one of 5 black spots for bird collisions. In an ongoing survey, the society recorded 30 collisions at the station between September and December last year. 23 cases were confirmed by imprints left by birds when they made contact with the glass panels. The society believed the animals were fooled by images of trees and other landscapes on the reflective surfaces. The MTR has since installed special stickers on around 100 glass panels at the station, and the number of accidents was greatly reduced. Other collision black spots included buildings with glass or mirror facades, as well as transparent noise barriers. At least 179 deaths were recorded, including critically endangered species. A black bittern, a migratory bird which does not pass through Hong Kong regularly, was also a victim. The society called on the government to protect the wildlife in the urban jungle.
Housing authority, they have some new buildings of noise barrier that does not have any kind of anti-bird collision measures adopted. So I think it is still not really mainstream in the government departments. So I think they can do more.
The study will continue for a year until September, and the society urged people to report collision sightings. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
Overseas, the South Korean government is facing a fierce backlash at home after agreeing to pay compensation to its own citizens who were forced to work during the Japanese occupation. Civic groups and former forced laborers protested outside the Foreign Ministry building in Seoul. Taxpayers' money will now be used to compensate Koreans who were enslaved during the Second World War. A 2018 Supreme Court ruling had demanded compensation from 2 Japanese companies, but both refused to comply, sparking further animosity between the nations. Many see the move as a diplomatic surrender, as conservative President Yoon Suk-yeol is under American pressure to mend ties with Tokyo. U.S. lawmakers are stepping up a push to ban TikTok and other Chinese technology. They argue that the popular video sharing app is collecting data from Americans and could be turned into a propaganda tool. Asam Khan reports.
TikTok has taken the world by storm, but its days in the United States may be numbered. 2 U.S. senators are now planning to introduce legislation aimed at banning or prohibiting foreign technology. That includes TikTok, which is owned by Chinese internet firm ByteDance. The broad bipartisan bill, which could be tabled this week, comes at a time when the popular video sharing app is facing scrutiny over its handling of personal data. Last week, the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee voted to give President Joe Biden the power to ban TikTok in what would be the most far-reaching restriction against any social media platform. Michael McCall, the Republican chair of the bill committee, warned TikTok users that they are effectively putting a spy balloon into their phones. But the bill made many Democrats uncomfortable, as they felt it was rushed and could undercut the core value of free speech. The White House last week also gave all government agencies 30 days to remove TikTok from all federal devices and systems. TikTok, which boasts over 100 million users in the United States, has all along denied allegations that it passes data to the Chinese government. Azam Khan, HKIBC.
Beijing has defended its annual growth target of 5% this year, which is the lowest level in 2 decades. Officials insist the target is in line with China's economic trends and patterns and promotes high-quality development, Kwong reports.
China missed its growth target last year with its gross domestic product expanding by 3%, far short of its goal of 5.5%. But the National Development and Reform Commission tried to put a positive spin, saying the economy had to grapple with COVID, as well as soaring global inflation and interest rates. In a press conference in Beijing, Commission Vice Chairman Zhao Chengxin stood by the 5% target this year, the lowest in 2 decades. He said it will help promote high-quality development.
27 provinces had targets higher than the national targets, with 23 of them having a goal of 5.5% or more. We believe that they will take concrete steps to achieve their goal, which lays a solid foundation for us to reach the national growth goal.
Fellow Vice Chairman Li Chunli, meanwhile, stressed the need to stabilize the supply of food and energy, as well as keeping inflation in check. China's consumer price index rose by 2% last year, well below the target of around 3%. While that target remains unchanged this year, it could be challenging as economic activities pick up after COVID. The officials also hinted at more policies to boost consumption while tackling downside risks linked to the real estate market and the finance industry. Kwong, HKIBC.
Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index closed up 35 points. To the top 10 active stocks, Tracker Fund was up 2 cents, Tencent down $4.60. JD.com up $2.60, Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing up $2. To the Forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar, euros at 8.34, pounds at 9.41, and Australian dollar at 5.27. Over to the UK market, FTSE 100 is down 48 points. On to the weather now. It will be another fine and dry day tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 17 and 24 degrees. The moderating monsoon winds means you can expect severe air pollution in the coming days. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Monday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Joanna Ho. Thanks for watching. Good night.